Okay, go ahead. Watch out! Everybody listen to what y'all can rock my stuff. Deep into fish like a bastard, for better than the other. I should compare, so you need to compare what we get up here. When I am in here, I'm on the atmosphere. And everybody listen to what y'all can rock my stuff. Deep into fish like a bastard, for better than the other. Let me away with the easy bit. I keep my fear, but even fear, so my feelings for blood to get the reason.
Hey, look at that dog, look at that, hey, look at that dog, look at that, hey.
All right, this is One Iam. You're listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I'm your host, and on my right hand is Debbie.
Hey, everybody.
I got a package today from the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management from the city of Detroit. Mayor Dave Bean and R. Durrell Lundy, the director. I guess he might be the director of Homeland Security. But it seems to be a reference guide, to tell you what to do in cases of emergency and etc. Who to call and all kinds of things like that. This is the first time I've got something like that from Homeland Security and Emergency Management, FEMA. So it might be getting ready to go down. I don't know. I'm just saying. First time. Debbie, what you think? Is Nibiru, Planet X? What was the other thing? Comet Element.
Comet Element. Nah, it's not going.
Might be. It's coming close on the 16th, 17th. It's doing its closest. It's going to be closest to the Earth, I guess, on the 16th or whatever. If it's still out there. If it didn't. Disintegrate and crumble up and whatever else.
And they just getting you ready for what's going to happen with all these different takeovers, and they're getting kind of scared because they've heard about Occupy Detroit.
That's what it is.
They're like, right after the Lions won last night, we got to send out some information because they about ready to take over the city.
Yeah, y'all should have been in Detroit last night. It looked like the Super Bowl. Downtown Detroit, streets closed off, everything. Nobody could get down there. It was off the chain. People was everywhere with their Lions gear on. The Bears couldn't have won if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
We would have beat them up and took the ball.
Yeah, turned over that bus. Yeah.
You know why they say this is the murder capital of the world. We would have murdered them for that game last night.
For that game. Man, no doubt. But Detroit won. I mean, how many is that now?
They're 5-0.
5-0.
But the best thing was they were on primetime TV on Monday night.
Monday Night Football.
Haven't been on there since 2005.
Without Hank Williams Jr.'s Monday Night Song. Because he, I guess he, compared Obama to Adolf Hitler or something like that. But, I saw the comment that he made or whatever. And I didn't consider him really comparing Obama to Adolf Hitler. He was just trying to make a comparison of like the two people that were coming together and saying that they really couldn't relate to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not that he was calling Obama Adolf Hitler or anything, but I guess Obama got on the phone, the White House or whatever and worked their magic. And now Hank Williams is doing songs. He's doing another song now about how America ain't America no more. And you can't really have freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff. So I guess it's on his website, and you can download it for free for a couple of days. This is what I heard.
Man, okay. I just want to ask, why did nobody come out about that about Bush or something? I I don't know.
I'm telling you, man, it was a lot of people talking about George Bush. George Bush got as much criticism or more than Obama did. I know because I was doing it.
You was doing it, but I'm talking about big time people.
Yeah, big time
too.
Big time people. They were criticizing Bush big time with his preemptive wars and everything else that was going on, and his enhanced interrogation techniques and torture and stuff like that. And Guantanamo Bay, where you got people living in dog kennels, with no charges on them for years and years and years.
Man, they didn't even talk about George Bush sitting there looking stupid while the World Trade Center was blowing up. And I mean, that was the stupidest picture I ever seen. If I see that picture again, I'll be like, man, they should just shoot him in the head. I
think he received as much or more criticism. As a matter of fact, Michael Moore did a movie on him sitting there looking stupid, And I think he's received as much or more criticism than Barack Obama has received so far. And let me say, tonight we're going to be talking about Occupy Wall Street, or the Occupy movement. Exactly, what is the Occupy movement? Where did it come from, etc.? And what is it about? What direction is it going in? And I know when I first seen the Occupy movement and heard about it, my question was, they were all like out in New York and, headed for Wall Street and et cetera. And I was asking, like, well, what are their demands? I mean, how can the Wall Street bankers and the administration and everything end the protest? You have to have some demands, and when those demands are met, then the protest ends. I didn't see any demands in this protest. If you might have heard my doorbell ringing, I just had a guest come in. His name is Fitzgerald Scotland. He's a young man, and I wanted to bring him in here and ask him a little bit about the Occupy movement and why he doesn't know about it, or why he's not really into it, or whatever. How much does he know about it? Anything you want to add right now, Fitzgerald?
Well, today I was coming from school, and I heard on the radio they was talking about on the news saying there's something going on in Boston, and there's people all over the street. And that's basically what I know for now.
Yeah, you were coming from school, and they were saying something was going on in Boston. So they got, Occupy movements pretty much everywhere across the country. Well, not everywhere, but a lot of cities across the country, they're doing Occupy. They got an Occupy movement coming to Detroit. I think they just had their meeting on the 10th down there in front of the city county building. I don't know how many people showed up. I didn't go. And
me either.
The big meeting, the big Occupy movement is supposed to happen on the 21st of October. And that would be, later on this month, about a couple of weeks maybe.
More like next weekend.
Yeah, and they're supposed to pitch tents and everything or whatever and stay down there in Hart Plaza. I don't know why they go into Hart Plaza and different things. They go in places where they're not in the way. And
they really should go in front of the Federal Reserve over there on Warren. That's the place to go right there. But, I guess they're kind of scared of mass people standing in front of there. Maybe they're scared somebody might shoot them. Right.
Well, let me say this, that the call-in number is 347-688-2902. 347-688-2902. And you can call in if you know anything about this Occupy movement, if you're a part of it, if you're an anonymous leader, and get somebody's phone or something and call in and tell me what's going on.
Well, you know what? I think occupying all this is really, people are just tired. Really, really tired.
Yeah.
They tell you, first of all, you got to go to school. You got to get an education. When you get your education, they say you got to go on and go to college. Then they say after you finish college, you got to get a job. You got to make sure you get a job. Then you got to save money in a savings account or a 401 account. You got to have a checking account to pay your bills unless you want to be a money order person running to the store every 15 minutes to get a money order.
More.
So then they tell you to get a bank account. Then they tell you to get a 401k. Then they tell you to put into a health savings plan. Then they say, oh yeah, buy a house. Oh yeah, buy a car. And then guess what? All of that has collapsed. How many people had $60,000 put away in a 401k, and now you don't have $60,000 because guess what? Everything is falling off. I just think that it's like ludicrous of the things that they say they want us to do. But then, Obama and them went in there and they bailed out all the bankers and everybody. And guess what? We got no bailout, but we got lost in the shuffle because we lost big time. They got bailouts, but there still continues to pass on the loss that they occurred to us. And I don't think that it's fair.
Okay, well, let me get into this a little bit, into the meat of this. This is from the Washington Post. Tina Feinberg, Associated Press. Wonk book today was about Occupy Wall Street. The growing, and they call it a decentralized protest movement that's clashing with police in New York City, spreading across the country and grabbing headlines across the world. It is also somewhat unusually a protest movement without clear demands and identifiable leadership or an evident organizational structure. So they're saying that it doesn't have clear demands, there's no clear leadership, and it doesn't seem to have any organizational structure. It's like a chicken with no head. You know what I'm saying? The movement. And like everybody's kind of like, yeah, I'm getting screwed. I'll go out on Wall Street too, And that's pretty much the way the movement's going. And, decisions are made by the NYC General Assembly, which Nathan Snyder describes as a horizontal, autonomous, leaderless, modified consensus-based system with roots in anarchist thought. And thus far, the General Assembly has decided against yoking the movement to a particular set of goals or even a particular ideology. So, most of them standing out there don't even have the same ideology or the same goals. Which is all to say that it's important to try and understand the movement on its own terms rather than the terms most of us are used to, which I am trying to understand the movement. I don't know how you're going to understand it on its own terms when it doesn't appear to have any terms. So after I read that, I went over to OccupyWallStreet.org, to try to find some structure and see what exactly this is, who put it together, this, that, and the other. I went over to Occupy Wall Street. First official release from Occupy Wall Street. The first thing they say is this is a living document. Like a living document, you could just keep adding to it, taking away from it. It's changing, it's morphing into other things. You know what I'm saying? It might be a amoeba today, the next, in 100 years, it'll be a 800-pound gorilla. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know, And then it says this is their declaration of the occupation of New York. As we gather in solidarity to express a feeling of mass injustice, we must not lose sight of what brought us together. What is that? What brought them together? We write so that all people who feel wronged by the corporate forces of the world can know that we are your allies, and we have peacefully assembled